You are certainly tuned into the most comprehensive bulletin in the country. Our sign language interpreter is William Silla. Now, as Kenya grapples with the security crisis and coming only about 1 year after the Westgate Siege that led to the death of 67 people, the Sydney siege provoked memories of the shocking incident and revived questions of the capacity and capability of our security apparatus. Well, tonight, the Sydney siege is finally over with 2 people reported dead and 3 others in serious condition. CNN reports that it is believed that one of those who are dead is the gunman who held hostages for over 16 hours at a Sydney cafe. The gunman had been identified as an Iranian refugee called Man Haron Moniz. He is believed to have been acting alone. An additional US law enforcement and intelligence sources said in what appeared to be a dramatic ending to the hostage situation. Police could be seen throwing flashbang grenades into the cafe. It is unclear how many hostages were in that building at the time, and though miles away, the 16-hour standoff rather between the Australian police and one gunman presents great lessons for Kenya in her anti-terrorism war. But where exactly can Kenya borrow a leaf from Sydney? KTN's Asha Mulu breaks it down for us.
Told for Lent that there were 2 gunmen in there.
A gunman, an unknown number of hostages, and live media coverage.
Prime Minister's office to try and get some direction.
A complete recipe for disaster for security responders in Sydney.
Police are being tested, the public is being tested, but whatever the test, we will face it head on.
As the world observed Australian authorities battling to contain the situation, back in Kenya, the lessons were distinct.
I think there was a lesson in terms of how the whole society can come together. In fact, that one includes the media, the government, the response from the security side. There is a lot to be learned from the Sydney thing.
While the gunman demanded for an ISIS flag and a phone conversation with the Australian Prime Minister, the negotiators kept their cards close to their chests. First to address the nation was the Australian Prime Minister, whose statement came early in the morning, just as the siege had begun.
I can understand the concerns and anxieties of the Australian people at a time like this, but our thoughts and prayers must above all go out to the individuals who are caught up in this.
While the hostage situation lasted more than 16 hours, Australian police stayed put and were ready to receive the hostages that had managed to escape.
The first thing they did is to seal off the area. And in sealing off the area, they were trying to make sure that no suspect from that scene escapes. 2, they were also trying to create an opportunity for those who could have made it to escape, to try as much as possible to reduce the number of hostages who are inside, so that they also reduce the bargaining power.
While covering the siege, the Australian media delayed their live feed by at least 3 minutes. Left in the dark, the gunman's options gradually decreased.
If you look at the media in Sydney, it is a media that it well regulates itself, unlike the media that we have here, which has been left loose. And you see, when you leave a media loose and the competition for money, then they are bound to highlight some of the news that we normally see in the newspapers, because there is that competition.
On the flip side, the Australian authorities kept the media on the loop and gave solid statements with key information to help residents still stranded in central Sydney.
Transport arrangements, as the Premier has indicated, have been put into place, and we need to make sure that people can get in and out of the city. The city is still operating and will continue to operate until we need to change that.
Where speculation was rife, the police commissioner was quick to silence them.
We've got a lot of people that are out there concerned when they see a police vehicle drive down their street to think that their suburb or their shire might be involved. That's not the case.
The first starting point is always to make sure that we satisfy the thirst of the media for information. Because the moment they don't get the right information and accurate information, they will start speculating.
As terror groups and lone wolves borrow terrorism strategies, experts like Richard Tuta say it's high time the international community borrows lessons and strategies. Asha Mwilu, KTN, Nairobi.